Tell you, I'm giving Pat 4 more minutes.
I need 14. I need at least 20.
I will tell you that the phones
25.
are exploding. Everybody is saying sewer.
Yeah,
everybody is saying
she
sewer.
needs to be sued.
And you haven't. I haven't
even got to the suing part.
Okay,
yet.
Go ahead.
But okay, so she says Beck has drawn parallels between Nazi history and contemporary American politics. Goes on and on about that stuff. Then she says, to start, I can't help wondering what prompted Beck to collect such macabre objects and include them among his personal belongings. Well, had you ever listened, Pumpkin, to the show, you wouldn't have to wonder. We've discussed it often.
Right.
Showing this history is critical, and allowing people to see what happened could help us avoid repeating those mistakes in the future. You
Correct.
learn from the past. I know that's all Greek to a progressive like you. Also,
art history.
Again, much of what we're talking about isn't owned by Glenn. But she goes on to, and here's where it really gets ugly. Surely harboring such items adheres to a personality cult and suggests a sympathizer rather than a critic. So here Alexandra moves beyond simple buffoonery into defamation territory, suggesting that Glenn, who's fought so hard for Israel, for Jews, in fact, he's fought so hard that he's received the Defender of Israel Award, the highest award given by these organizations, and one normally reserved for people like Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. Not from one, not two, but three separate Zionist Jewish organizations. You know, Glenn is a guy whom Benjamin Netanyahu referred to as a friend of Israel, a man who's the only Christian to ever be allowed to hold an event on Jerusalem's sacred Temple Mount by the chief rabbi of all of Israel's holy sites. So to suggest that man is a Nazi sympathizer, that goes beyond plain unadulterated stupidity. It's beyond blind, absurd hatred for somebody you clearly don't know anything about and obviously don't listen to. That's character assassination. That's defamation territory, and it's bearing false witness. And
she cares about that.
I'm sorry, Alexandra. What have you ever done for Israel? I mean, she gets into her tie with Jews in a second here, but then she says, more than 70 years old, most of the detritus of Germany's National Socialism was destroyed after the war and continue to be banned to this day. The survival of such memorabilia.
Do you know why it was destroyed? It was destroyed so they could forget.
Right.
They didn't want to remember.
Right. But she keeps the smear going because she says much of the survival of the memorabilia can only be achieved with the help from Nazi sympathizers wishing to pass on the torch. She's alleging here, she keeps the smear going just in case you missed it the first time, by calling you a Nazi sympathizer who's preserving this stuff to keep it going. I mean, that is unbelievable. I mean, there's much more here, but you only gave me 4 more minutes.
Well, maybe we'll give you time in court, because maybe there's a court case here that we should look into. Back in just a second.